What is good, agency owners? It's Jordan Ross, founder of Eight Figure Agency. And on this call today, we got a really fucking killer conversation about to happen. We got Ciaran Houlihan, founder of Converte, one of ADAF's brightest, strongest, fastest growing clients. He's had some massive success with us in just 3 months, right? He's been able to add about 40K in monthly recurring revenue, get back a shit ton of his time. And, he's done this in just 90 days. He's growing so fast. And I can't wait for you to hear the story on how he did it so you can learn how to do it too. So Ciaran, thank you so much for joining me, man. How you doing today? I see we spoke prior to the call, but you're calling in from Mexico. So tell the audience, like, who's Ciaran, what's Converte, and tell them the geography thing, because I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, what's going on, man? Thanks for inviting me on. So yeah, I'm Ciaran and owner of or co-founder of Converte that we've been running for about just over a year now. And geographically, yeah, our business is located in Dubai, and that's where we spend a lot of our time. But Dubai gets extremely hot during June, July, and August. As you imagine, it's in the desert. So we relocated to Mexico for a few months and are building the business out here. And yeah, so essentially what Converte is a marketing agency for education and info product brands, where we kind of help them in the back end be more profitable, create upsells, email, all that jazz. So that's the quick rundown of what we do. And we've been, yeah, like I said, we've been doing that for just over a year now.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And think about that. Like, I didn't even know that you've only been doing this for a little more than a year. You're already running a multi-million-dollar business. How's that feel? And how old are you too? Because you look, I've never asked that. You're running a multi-million-dollar business. You look pretty damn young, and you did it within a year. Just talk to me about that. How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, so I'm 19, and
holy shit, I thought you were going to say 25. You're 19? Oh my goodness. Holy shit. This is crazy.
Yeah, so I started this business at 18 with my business partner, and no previous experience of really running any business. A little bit of experience, some clients before, but this was the first one that really took off. And yeah, man, it's weird because it's been just over a year, but it feels like it's been 5 years of just the trial and error we've run through and just literally figuring it all out. And when we started, we had nothing, no connections, no clients. And we've just been able to build it up from just, like I said, trial and error and just running into problems, figuring them out and going from there. Yeah.
That is so fucking awesome. Wow, Ciaran, you just got bumped up to like one of Jordan's like favorite success stories of all time because you're still a teenager when you've done this. Okay, so let's break this down. When you came in, you already had very, very good success, right? You're already running a 7-figure business coming into ADAF. What made you want to explore collaborating with ADAF? Like, when you were coming into this relationship, why were you looking to collaborate with ADAF? What were the issues? Where were you on the business? What were the issues that you were facing before we started collaborating together?
Yeah, so as a primary skill, I was always just marketing and sales, and that's always why I understood to a really good level. And our fulfillment, we were getting insane results with clients. We helped build 8-figure companies from the ground up with clients, and just really we were amazing at getting results for our clients. They loved staying with us. We barely ever churned a client. So on the fulfillment side, we were dialed, and that was something we just always really prioritized from the get-go. What I didn't know and what I didn't really understand was actually how to be a business owner and actually someone who runs a business, manages a team, creates systems, and runs efficiently. That was just something that I never learned because I was just so focused on fulfillment, building skills, getting results. So when I saw you talking about ADF on, I think it was Twitter, and talking about systems, talking about how to actually run and manage a team, that was like, okay, that's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I need to learn. And that's really the primary reason I actually joined, was just to actually learn how to operate a business and how to be an operator. So yeah, I can fulfill for clients. I know marketing, sales, but how do I actually operate a business at a high level so I can grow? And it wasn't just for this business, but it's just for the future, know how to actually, from the get-go, operate a business.
Think through
so
this.
that was the reason. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that. I think one, knowing that you're 19, this totally changes my perspective because this is your university, right? You're getting paid, you're running a multi-million-dollar business, and instead of having to pay thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to go into a university, your business is just making you money. You're getting paid to do it. But I think one of the biggest pitfalls I saw, and I've seen so many of my peers, they hit 1 million or 2 million and then they plateau. And the reason that businesses plateau, especially at that level, it's the founder. Like, because at that level, there's so many easy strategies to implement. And I love how you had the foresight. Look, things are going well, but shit, there's so much I don't know in this. There's so much that if I don't learn this, it's going to prevent me from building an 8-figure company in the future, right? What were there any specific pain points or just ambiguities in the business that you were facing outside of, I truly want to learn how to be an operator, but like, were there any things that would come up that you'd be like, shit, like, I really wish I could know how to do this in this way or something specific?
100%. So yeah, it was a case of plateau for us too. We kind of went 3 to 4 months of being really stagnant, and for us, it's like we either grow or you die. So it's just like we were just, okay, why are we not growing? What is the bottleneck here? We're working harder, we're getting better results, we've got a solid team in place. What's the issue here? Like, what is actually stopping us from getting to the next level? And it all came down to the efficiency of like how we were actually operating. We were pulling 12-hour days when we didn't really need to. We were just being extremely inefficient with how we were managing our team, how the tasks we were doing that could have been systemized. And that was what really as soon as I saw your content, that's what really kind of clicked something in my mind. It was like, okay, I know that we can be so much more efficient with this operation and free up a lot of time. And that's just how we're going to grow, focusing on the higher leverage ops and tasks instead of doing all the medial just things inside the business.
Yep.
Because both founders were doing that, like me and my business partner. So it was just a case of, okay, we need to figure out how can we step more out and just focus on actually growing instead of just fulfilling all the time.
Yeah. I love the awareness coming in because when I began, I was the only ops guy in the agency space when I started on Twitter in January 2022. Now there's a lot of automation people. And I think so many people get caught with the distraction. I need to learn how to automate my business. And that is not at all what you're talking about. It's how do I put my time into the activities that will disproportionately grow my business? And how do I get myself out of these menial things that actually are not a significant ROI, right? And for me, that's general operations. That's a lot of strategy, but then that's also people operations because I need to start delegating and then managing and then ensuring that they're training and executing, right? So there's a lot that goes into that. It's not as simple as automate this software, right? That's not it at all.
Yeah.
So you came into 8F, right? Started collaborating with us, and we already know how the story goes, right? 90 days, add 40K MRR, right? You blow past your plateau, and you've also been able to get back so much of your time and start working on the business. Walk us through the journey. Like when you came in, we went through due diligence. You started working with Herbert, who one of your buddies, Levi's, working with as well. Talk us, what were the specific things that really stood out for you in the first 90 days that disproportionately have led to these wins for you?
Yeah, so joining and then hopping on calls with Herbert and him actually being inside our business as well and seeing how we communicate with clients and how we communicate with the team. Then he did an audit and did a rundown of what we need to work on. So I was like, okay, this looks great. One of the first things we did, which we never ever thought about, was actually the org chart. That was something that just made everything so much easier because we looked at our business from kind of an objective chart instead of just like, oh, this person's in the business and does this. We looked at what are the roles inside the company that are needed for us to operate and grow. And as soon as I kind of looked at business in that standpoint and kind of leaders and just like in a way hierarchy in the business, it made things so much easier to actually delegate tasks and systemize and manage people and roles, because I knew what they were working on, what roles these people inside our business fit into. It also helped us identify, okay, who is a good fit for our company based on like character and fitting the role, and who isn't. So then we started to kind of cut people out and keep the people that were right for the company. And now we have a pretty lean team of 4 people or 5 people, and we've grown. I've literally gone from working, probably putting 10 to 12 hours into fulfillment a day to maybe like 3 to 4 hours a week now. And that's been massive. Just like stepping out of that and having people come in who do it as well, if not better, has been game changing. And that's the thing. Like I've stepped out of fulfillment, and you'd think, okay, that might have an effect, but that's actually not. We've actually grown, like you said, 40K MRR has been added from us doing that, and I spend less time working in the business than ever before, and literally a fraction of that time too.
And what's going to happen too is the hockey stick. Now that you have your time, you're a brilliant marketer. You're about to take this time and you're about to, I'm sure you're probably doing it. You're building funnels, business development strategies, like prospecting, sales. Is that where your time's going now too?
Yeah, exactly. And the kind of next step for us, which is the next step for us is licensing and consulting. That's what we want to step into in our industry that we work in. And yeah, that's just where a lot of my focus goes. And then I'm making sure the team is just fulfilling and everything's on point. That was also another thing. When we were working these long hours, there would be so many mistakes inside the business for clients. And it was just because we weren't like tracking anything, or we weren't managing anything, and stuff was getting forgotten to do. And it was just a mess. And now it's basically zero mistakes. And we're very, very, very efficient, very lean. Clients' results have been better than ever. And it's just amazing, man. It's completely changed our business, you know?
It's crazy how like it's chess, right? The right moves in chess put you into checkmate, right? The right moves in your business when you already have some leverage, add 40K. But like the big win for you, it's like your quality of life is significantly better. You've cut 2/3 of your time. And now that time is growing into building the thing that's going to add the next 2, 3, 4 million in sales, right? And I just want to do a quick recap for all you listening. This actually hasn't been something that we've spoken about with one of our clients on the pod. The org chart, I think a lot of people hear org chart and wave past it because it is a very archaic model, right? Like 1837, I think, was when it was first created. But I like to use it from a strategy perspective, because in where you guys are at, you're sitting in like 3, 4, or 5 roles too, right? And clearly saying, okay, this person's doing 2 things, this person's doing 3, I'm doing 5. Clearly defining that, and then juxtaposing that. Here's where we're at. Here's what this needs to look like if we are going to get to where we need to go. And then you build a strategy to go from A to B, right? Doing that enabled you to get the right fit, the right talent, doing the right role. Sourcing and hiring, you cut some talent that was, it sounds like margins weren't being used effectively. So you could either, I don't know which happened specifically, but I'll share for you guys listening. You could have either reused that profit to invest in better talent, or just that profit goes into your pocket, right? And then from there, because we start to put you guys into a reduced role operationally, your mistakes go down, because when you're working 12 hours a day, like you're fatigued, you're exhausted, you're doing too much, it's easy to make mistakes. And then once we had this structure, we could actually, it sounds like we started working on some tracking mechanisms. We started building some operational and data tracking systems that allowed you to make this easy to run your operation, easy to track performance, easy to track project management, easy to track these things that allow you guys to execute. Is that a good summation?
100%. And even now, coming to hiring with the org chart, going back to the org chart, I feel more confident hiring the right person than ever, because the org charts helped us define the role, and the role is what we put in the job description and is what we look for in an interview. And now when we bring someone on board, I'm more confident than ever we can get like a killer who fits the team, and it's just, we don't have to make the mistakes we've made before with hiring.
I love this. So let's kind of look forward now, right? You've gone back 2/3 of your time through really just foundational level work. This is foundational level, right? 2/3 of your time are now back with you. You have grown by 40K in recurring revenue. Where do you see the business going now? Like, what are the conversations with Herbert and strategy taking the business? You kind of alluded to some new strategy, but how do you see 8F playing into that, and what is the strategy?
Yeah, so number one, it's with our agency, we kind of have a model where we don't really want to take on any new clients unless they're a really good fit, because we have very scalable deal structures with our existing clients. So we can see ourselves adding about probably an extra 50K MRR with our existing team, maybe one hire, our systems, and just continuing to do what we're doing for clients. So that's number one. And then the next step is licensing, so we can turn up like our frameworks and systems we built over the last over a year now and help build like 8-figure companies. And yeah, now selling that as a system and kind of transitioning to consulting, so we can cast like a wider net in the market we're going after. The agency is going to be kind of our like highest level, working with the highest level people in the industry, and the done for you side, obviously. And then the consulting, which is becoming one of my main focuses now, is the done with you, starting to build systems where someone can actually come in and take what we do done for you, but just have it systemized, and then they have the support by our team too. So I'd say the agency is grow by another 50K MRR in summary, and then also start scaling this done with you consulting model.
I love it. I think it's great where it's like, we know what type of business we want to run. We're going to increase by 50K in MRR. We're not going to increase our like expenses by that much. So you guys, dude, you're fucking turning 20 soon, right? You're 19, 20. You're going to be running this multi-million-dollar business, and the world's your oyster now, right? Because all you have is time to play the game, and you've been using this collaboration to really mold the way you see business and play the game of business. You remind me a lot of there's a lot of similarities between you and one of our other clients, David Riggs. So David also came on the pod. He runs a holding company now. They got like, I think 6 or 7 companies that are maybe 5 to 7 companies in his holding company. So he has his agency. They do like 3-4 million a year, but he's acquired an additional like 4 or 5 businesses on top of that. And the thing he said when he came on the podcast was, I would have never been able to get to this stage where now I have my business, which has like 40 people in it, but I also have 4 or 5 other businesses. And the only way I was able to do that because I worked with you guys and I built the perspective on how an operator, how an owner plays this game. And I think that's that's something I'm probably not talking about enough online. It's how we see you game, how we help you see the game and play the game. It's chess, right? Could you give some color to the guys and gals that are listening around what that's been like for you as kind of like a student of the game, working alongside someone like Herbert? Like, what is it about that collaboration and that partnership that's enriching for you, that's stimulating for you, and that's enabling you to up level the way you play the game?
Yeah, so I remember having a call probably about 2 to 3 months ago about 3 to 4 months ago, actually, with a friend who told me that one of the best things you can do in business is get someone, quote unquote, a mentor who isn't in your industry, doesn't understand the nitty gritty of what you do, and someone who can just look at what you're doing, your business, from like an objective standpoint, who has decades of experience doing it themselves, and just looks at it and has been through the mistakes, has the longevity, and just sees your business as a business, not everything that's inside the business. And that was something I was always looking for, because everyone we were working with was in our industry. So it's just, yeah, you kind of limited yourself to only that industry knowledge. But having Herbert come in and look at our business has just been game changing, because he's been doing business management consulting for longer than I've been alive. And it's just like having someone there who, when I have something that like I'm thinking about or I just want to solve, and just talking to him about it, and knowing that he has the decades of experience of doing it, has like helped so much, because I can just listen to his word and I trust what he has to say, because he's been there, he's done exactly what we've done. And we've had, especially since joining ADF, we've made some pretty big and difficult decisions, which we wouldn't have made otherwise if we didn't have someone like Herbert in our corner. And because he was there, and because he could just look at our business as a business, then he was able to input his thoughts as well with what we were doing. And then those thoughts that we've executed on from him have just completely changed our business. And it all goes back to having that person who's just been in it longer than you, who can see business just sees your business as a business and not everything that's inside it. And having that has just helped so much with clarity in general and just knowing where the next steps to move forwards with.
I love how you articulate that. And it's so great. I mean, Herbert's amazing. I'm so blessed to work with him. For those of you that don't know who Herbert is, yeah, this guy's got literally decades of experience of running 8-figure businesses. He's run 3 businesses at the 8-figure level, the largest of which I think was doing like 33 million annually. One of those was actually an agency. It was a dev agency. He grew from 3 to 10, 11 million annually. So not only has he been a CEO of an agency himself scaling it, but he's also been, to your point, in other industries too, as a CEO, COO of these multi 8-figure companies. So part of the game, like we're called 8-figure agency, part of that's what we aspire for. Part of that's who we are, right? Only 0.4% of all businesses become 8-figure businesses. And so it's 1 of 250. And then, it's who we employ, right? It's who works with us. So Ciaran, I really appreciate you giving the high level. If someone's listening to this and like, they are thinking, holy shit, this is fucking sick. This is like kind of what I need. What's your 2 cents for them if they're kind of on the fence, if they're considering reaching out to ADAP? What would you recommend? Just someone who's is a client, has been a client, who's gone through the experience for the first like 90 or so days.
Yeah. So if you're on the fence about joining, I would say definitely just look at see what your kind of priorities are right now. Like if you're in this similar situation to where I was, where I was working those long hours and I was just almost stuck and I didn't know how to kind of get out of being in the business, or you also are just kind of like starting out and maybe you're doing 10, 20, 30K a month and okay, I want to get these systems and operations right from the get-go. Or if you also just want to learn how to be a better operator, how to be a bit better business owner, because that's just such an important skill that I overlooked. ADAP is definitely the place to go. I just so happy I joined. It was kind of joined on a whim and then came in, worked with Herbert, and specifically Herbert. I haven't talked to the other consultants, but like it's just been massive, man. Just for everything, for our business, even just like I said, clarity, building new systems, hiring, and now I've got skills from ADAP that now set me up for life for any business I will ever start. Anything to do with business, I have these skill sets. And if you're a founder and if you're someone running a business as an owner, it's so important to have that too. Don't limit yourself to just knowing how to fulfill for clients. Know how to operate a business as well, because that's one of the most underrated skills that not many people talk about online either. So if you're on the fence, just pull the trigger.
How a 19-year-old built a multi-million-dollar business. I mean, mate, you are going to be like in 2 to 5 years, you're going to have a series of businesses. You're going to be doing crazy numbers and you're only going to be 24 in 5 years, right? In 10 years, I'm 28. So when you're my age, right? When you're my age at 28, I mean, decamillionaires, you're going to be way beyond being a decamillionaire. Like you might be, you have the capacity to be doing 50 to over 100 million in 10, and you're not even going to be fucking 30. So yeah, this is so cool. We're definitely going to have a conversation like 2 or to 5 years where we're like, let's see how you've molded from there, because Ciaran, you are a grade A assassin. You are the real deal. And I'm so excited that we get to collaborate with you. And hopefully you're going to stay in Mexico for the next few months, because we'd love to have you come to the ADAP event in LA, where we already got over 30 agency owners that are running 7-8-figure businesses coming through. So we'd love to have you too. So Ciaran, thank you so much for coming on. And if you're listening, this can be you. You can be the next success story. You could be the next agency owner coming on the pod, sharing how simple it was to scale and why wait, right? Why wait to change your business and change your life? Ciaran, thank you, bro. Cheers.
Thank you.